Richard. It's so nice to have you here, and it's so wonderful that your students were able to benefit from Joanne Lang's little talk on massage for equines. And I think they realize now that massage is for more than just those who are going to be showing and using their animals that way, but actually everybody can benefit from it, and there are things that they can learn to do on their own animals, and they don't need a whole lot of instruction to do the really simple things. And she kind of filled them in on what to look for when they do go to get a real equine masseuse when they really need it. And it's pretty exciting, don't you think?
Oh, Meredith, this has been an absolutely great week, and we just want to thank you so much for having us here. I think all of us realize in the horse industry today, especially with so much education and knowledge being shared. I know when I was younger, we didn't see the sharing of that great knowledge.
Right, everybody, all the trainers were hiding their secrets.
Yeah. But today it's just opened up a whole new thing. And coming here this week, I was just thinking this morning, it was kind of cool. With Joanne here and, of course, you here, it was like these students are able to go to the Library of Congress.
Right.
Every clinician brings to the table their expertise, and they had the benefits right here in this beautiful Colorado ranch, the Lucky Three, to not only have that knowledge presented to them, but of course, without question, you two for sure the very, very best, and they've been soaking it up, and the whole information ties in to helping everybody out there, and so it is fun to share.
That's exactly right, and I think that's, there's none of us that could possibly know it all, and I think that all of the trainers have something really valuable to offer, and it's such a wonderful thing that it is out in the open now.
Well, and I think what the people out there need to realize is that when you go to a library, you don't read one book. Don't be afraid to go to all kinds of clinics, and if you're a calf roper, believe it or not, you might learn something from a dressage person. I know myself, it's just a reinforcement of the resistance-free training methods every time I see somebody really do it in that really easy, harmony, oneness way. So it's been fun. And we've got a neat letter here that, of course, Joanne just answered a lot of it by her comments on when the horse is physically feeling right, he's able to perform at his top maximum ability. And so if you'd like me to read it, I'd like to have you comment on it, and then maybe I can too.
Okay, that sounds wonderful.
Well, this is from Susie Sams from Massillon, Ohio.
Okay.
And Susie's question is basically, it says she's having trouble, Meredith, with her horse, changing leads and being able to change front and behind and stay in balance. And what are some things that she may be able to do as far as drills to help him? And how should she be looking at this? This is a great question. A lot of people have this problem.
Yes, I was just going to say, I get a lot of questions the same way from a lot of people myself. So what I usually like to tell people is to go ahead and don't be afraid to step back and go back to the round pen, and let's address this without a rider and let the animal find his own balance again and his own coordination. And we do this with the use of the restraint that you introduced to us years ago and used to call the elbow pull, but is now the rhythm collector. And we go ahead and we'll put him in a surcingle or a saddle and put that rigging on him and get him in the correct frame and start working him again. And when you're working him in the round pen, count the number of times that he goes around each direction, because in essence what you're doing is you're building those muscles, and you want to build them correctly. And he's having difficulty because he's probably built muscles out of frame. And if you take the time and spend maybe 6 weeks to a month going back over that and rebuilding those muscles correctly,
Exactly.
then when you get on, you're going to have less of a problem, I believe, don't you?
Oh, there's no question. And this week here at the Lucky Three has been so great for this graduate course because we've done just exactly what you said. We've had a chance to take the individual, the animal. Hey, look at him. What is his trapezoid, his conformation, his balance? There are horses out there like people. The good Lord just didn't give us the gift of Michael Jordan.
That's right.
And so we try to show the student that there are measurements and things that if this horse mechanically doesn't have the right thing, and when you watch him out there by himself, You can see very quickly, and just with a couple measurements that we teach in the course, if it's not possible for him to be always in balance, that may be one of the reasons he's right. He'll be correct in front and then maybe be off behind.
Sure.
And then of course, like Joanne says, when they're sore, this is another thing. So you check that out, and then the puzzle starts to go together.
Right, and it can be any number of different things.
Oh,
And people shouldn't be discouraged either, I don't think, if they've got a horse that really is having some really hard problems with some things. Evaluate your expectations of that
absolutely,
animal.
absolutely. And again, when you have the knowledge to look at him, and either he tells you on the way he moves that this is hard for him, and the measurements say this is going to be hard, don't blame yourself. Don't beat yourself up, and don't push the square peg in the round hole.
That's right.
Just say, hey, we've got a nice horse that we may not be able to do a lot of lead changes, canter departures, and let him find that area that he's going to be happy in.
Exactly, because everybody has some worth in some way and something to offer, and this is true of people and as well with horses. And allowing him to find the thing that is special about him is probably really important.
Meredith, the greatest gift you can give your animal, without question, or even a good friend, is to let them do what they're capable of doing and what their gifts are.
Exactly.
And, I had a lady the other day, she said to me she had a trail horse that always wanted to be in front of the line. And she couldn't understand why in the world he was wanting to be the leader. And every time a horse would come up beside him, he wanted to go faster, and she was just tired of trying to hold him back. And my first question was, how's he bred? And
Sure.
of course, she said exactly what I knew she was going to say, and that was he was sired by the son of Secretariat, I think.
There you
Of
go.
a Neige Rula mare, and he had so much thoroughbred and race in him that every gene in his body was competitive. And, to expect him to be old Shep and back in the back of the trail line and not let that competitiveness come into his body, that's not the way his mind works.
It's counterproductive, actually.
And I think also you can kind of look at the other side. I know my background with the showing, and of course yours too.
Yeah.
We really know what it takes, that special individual to reach the top.
It's a lot of work.
And a lot of work,
time.
but it takes a lot of talent.
Yes.
And you need a sensitivity level of that Jack Russell. And if he's got the Basset Hound disposition, all the spurring and pulling and driving and what you're going to do to force him to do it, all it's going to do is make him mad, make him sour, and it's so sad because in a way that's abuse.
Well, it is abuse because you're asking them to be something that they're not.
Exactly.
And it's really that simple. And people who are going out and looking for horses, I think these measurements and everything that we've had to offer will give them a good picture, because they can, if they have something in mind that they want to do, then this will give them the tools that they need to evaluate horses and pick one that will work for them that way. But if you're the person that already has your horse, you shouldn't feel bad if he doesn't measure up. Find the things that your horse really can do, that he will excel in, and be happy with that. And if you still want to do these other things, you can get the second horse. Go out and get a horse that can do that. But don't malign the horse you have, and don't be discouraged or feel personally insulted by the criticism. Criticism should be taken as a helpful kind of thing, and not something to tear down any self-esteem or anything like that.
Oh, exactly. And Meredith, here at this graduate course, this is so perfect, these questions, because it's exactly what I've been trying to help our young trainers that want to be certified, and they come here and train all week. So they're so excited. And the knowledge of what we're just talking about will open up so many doors. For example, our industry, we've got great people.
Yes,
good
we do.
people. But without that knowledge, a horse trainer accepting a horse in training and not having the information to know what that individual is kind of a double-edged sword. Because if you take those people's money for, say, 5 or 6 months to train him for a certain thing, and then one day, as a professional, you say, well, he's not going to cut it, let's buy another one, after they've spent $5,000 or $6,000 on him, they're not going to be very happy.
No, they
And
won't. Yeah.
as a trainer, if you say, well, he's not going to cut it, he's not going to make it, let's buy another one, and you're basically saying their child, their horse that you just accepted all this money for, is second rate. They're going to go out and not only be mad at you, but they're going to come back out and they're going to take him to every trainer in the country to show that it's not the horse, but it's you.
Right.
So as a good professional, you're better to walk right up front, have that information and knowledge about that individual to say, you know, his movement and his trainability isn't going to be for what you want him for.
Right.
And maybe right now, before we tie a lot of money in him, we can find you another one and find somebody that'll appreciate his gifts.
Right.
Ha! They'll hug you, walk away. You only got a great horse maybe to go find for him, but everybody's happy.
That's exactly right, and that is important for trainers if they don't know or if they're unsure about something to consult with their cohorts, with their peers. I mean, we're all very open with each other and very easy to talk to most of the time, don't you think?
Oh, no question.
Colorful Colorado, with its majestic Rocky Mountains and wide open spaces, also boasts the Loveland Longyears Museum and Sculpture Park at the Lucky 3 Ranch, home of some of the finest mules and donkeys in the world. This working ranch is just 40 miles north of Denver. World-renowned authority on mules and donkeys, Meredith Hodges, invites you and your family for an adventure in learning you won't want to miss. Come visit the Lucky 3 Ranch, meet Meredith, her champion mules and donkeys, and take in the beauty of her Longyears art for the experience of a lifetime.
Hi, I'm Meredith Hodges, and welcome to the Lucky 3 Ranch Training Tips. I get a lot of letters and emails from people with training and behavior questions about their equines. So I'm going to take you back to the beginning with a series of training tips that work for all equines. No living creature is born in good posture. Good posture is something that everyone, including equines, has to learn. Good posture is standing up straight by using strong back and core muscles in an ideal body alignment, with legs squared and feet firmly planted, in balance, comfortable, and confident. Teaching this will not only help your equine to stand and walk correctly, but it will help him to use his body properly while moving and lessen the possibility of painful muscle and bone problems as he grows older. Be sure to walk in good posture yourself, aligning your steps with your equine's front legs and asking him to square up with equal weight over all 4 feet every time he stops. Use definitive pauses between different actions to give you and your animal the opportunity to adequately balance every new action. Working to strengthen your animal in balance and good posture so that it becomes a habitual way of moving is healthy for him and for you too. When you consistently pay attention to your own good posture, your equine will learn to do the same. Here's an engineer. How did you know that? So we go see a huge mule. Because this thing, you're fine. Stroke with the head. That's all you gotta do. Okay, come on, boys. Let's go. Come on.
Every owner knows that a well taken care of equine is a happy equine. More and more, a technique being used to enhance our animals' overall conditioning is equine massage.
What you have to realize is you're training an animal in their muscle tissue, and their muscle tissue has to be able to perform the task that you're asking the animal to perform. If you're having a hard time doing the advanced things, you need to go back to the beginning. The massage helps break the pattern of the neurons that fire to that muscle, that tell it to contract, to contract, to contract.
With proper instruction, just about anyone can learn to give their equine the benefit of basic massage.
I've been working on equines for a long time, and a lot of people look at you and hope that you can just come out and make an animal better. And you can't do that. It takes two pieces, the massage as well as the exercise. And the exercise is actually more important than the massage. And that's something that people really have to understand. And Meredith's tapes do that. And a lot of people don't want to take that long a time frame. They just want to do their 60 days, get on the animal and ride them. But that's not really where you can go with their backs.
For more intensive therapeutic massage, be sure to consult a professional. Equine massage not only enhances your animal's health and overall condition, it's also a deeply personal and rewarding bonding experience for both of you.
Many of you who love your horses also love your dogs. This type of massage can be beneficial for all your pets. If you want to improve your animal's quality of life, I can help. I can either teach you how to do it, or I can massage your dogs for you. Contact me at dogmassage.com.
Hi, I'm Meredith Hodges, and welcome to the Lucky 3 Ranch Training Tips. Determining your animal's athletic ability is a useful guide in the training of your equine. I break it down into two categories, one physical and one mental. You can get information on how to measure your equine for aptitude, conformational balance, and proportion at the end of this training tip. This training tip focuses on the tests that help you to assess your equine's trainability and determine his mental attitude. First, ask someone to hold your equine's lead rope while you pick up a handful of sand. Stand near your equine's head and let the sand trickle through your fingers. If he turns and looks at you, this indicates that he's interested in what you're doing, which indicates that he is more easily trainable than if he ignores you. Next, run your finger lightly from your equine's girth across his barrel to his flank. Do this on both sides. If he tolerates this with little movement, it will give you an idea of how he will react to your legs when you are riding him. If he twitches or flinches, he will probably overreact to leg cues and cause problems during training. If he does not twitch or flinch, it indicates that he will be more attentive to you and will be able to learn your leg cues more efficiently. Now stand at your equine's shoulder. Put your hand over his nose and ask him to bend his head and neck towards you. Do this on both sides. If he brings his nose around easily, it indicates that he is submissive and will probably learn more quickly than if he puts up resistance to this test. Finally, ask someone to hold the lead rope while you make an abrupt move like jumping and flapping your arms. If your equine doesn't try to run off, but instead stands and looks at you and seems to try to figure out what you're doing, he may be a great candidate for advanced training in equine sports like driving, which require a calmer and steadier animal. Regardless of the level of trainability your equine possesses, when you do the right kinds of exercises toward good posture and balance, in their correct order, and with adequate time spent at each stage of training, he will recognize your efforts on his behalf and training will be a lot easier.
Teach your mules amazing things.
Meredith Hodges' mule and donkey videotapes have helped us to train our mule to do some amazing things. We bought all of the videotapes, including driving, riding, and dressage. However, tape number 7, jumping, is where our mule Bessie really excelled.
Teach your mules amazing things.
Artwork inspired by mules and donkeys is quickly gaining popularity. Tennessee mule artist Bonnie Shields has the uncanny ability to capture the fun-loving nature of these free-spirited animals.
They were like a horse, but they weren't like a horse. They had a little different body. They used their body a different way. They certainly had a different mental attitude. So they started intriguing me as an artist, and I kept finding the differences between them and the horse, both physically and in their reaction to things. So that started my love affair with the mule. When you deal with the mule, you're not always in charge. So it takes a little bit of a different kind of personality to appreciate the mule and to work with her.
She was the only artist that could really capture the essence of mules and donkeys. Because mules and donkeys are really good teachers and teachers of life lessons. And Bonnie has just been an inspiration to me ever since. Wow, how'd it do?
Whoa! I know that all through the years, Meredith gives tours to the ranch. But what a wonderful addition to this whole ranch would be a sculpture park just for the mules and the donkeys. So I just thought it was an awesome idea. And then she let me be part of it. It's a wonderful thing, and when you come to visit the Lucky Three, it's just an added bonus. Mule people, you reckon I can get Meredith to make a tape on how to teach your mule to shovel snow? I sure gonna try. Wish me luck.
Just a wonderful human being, and working with her is always humorous. She is just funny as the day is long, and so I thought that she would be absolutely perfect as the illustrator for the Jasper series that I wanted to do.
The Daydreamers was inspired by a thing that I saw years ago. I heard about this family up in Kentucky. They'd been working tobacco out in the field with their mules. And one of the boys, he was laying across this mule's back, laying in the shade. They'd been working, and he was resting on the back of his mule in the shade. That just kind of stuck with me, and I thought, gee, a kid like that, you know, he thinks he's stuck on the farm. He thinks he's stuck doing all this terrible old work, and he's laying up there and he's daydreaming about getting away from it all. So that's where Daydreamer came from. Sculpture's not the only thing I do. Matter of fact, I got into sculpture maybe a little later in my career. Mostly, I was known for my pencil drawings and my acrylic paintings for many, many years.
Long ears art. It may be whimsical, like a cartoon, or it may simply be breathtaking. Long ears are taking their place in the world of art, and it's the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
What we can see here is what a wonderful opportunity. We're watching a lady who's dedicated her whole life to these animals. You know, one of the things I find very interesting here is fluidness and that softness, that total harmony. Not only does the animal now have a chance to reach his 100% potential, but you have that combination. It's just like a flowing water. It's like a river that just has that freedom. And they can perform and perform and perform. But the second you start to get that resistance, it's just like that water chipping away a little bit at the bank, and then it starts to erode, and pretty soon you have a horse that's training level is down a level really than coming up. So being able to spot resistance and see the resistance-free flow is really critical, I think, to any trainer, because it's like watching a temperature gauge. And anytime you get it up to that boiling point, Barb, well then what you've got a problem with there is of course, that animal is like cooking the omelet. You know, it starts to smoke, then you're in big trouble. So you try not to burn it, you try to keep it to where it's resistance-free. Does it take a little longer? Yeah. But what you've got is a product that tastes good, it's great. You know, you have a great breakfast and the omelet. Well, with a horse, you get the great ride, ride after ride. It's consistent. Now you see right there, see this mule crossover behind? What was step 9 and 10 we do in resistance-free training? And you'll notice as he stepped over how his frame changed, and like Joanne said, the core lifted, didn't it? So the balance all of a sudden came together. So that leg or hand movement that we've been doing for the last couple days of getting the horse to move away from pressure is the same thing she's doing right here, and it's creating the same result. And that result is a balanced frame. It's putting the animal in a position to where he's in perfect balance. Now they can jump, they can turn, so this is a series of exercises that we see her do. Now you say, what's he moving away? That line is directly to his mouth. So what's he, she's doing it all with her reins. Well, if you watch how she uses her reins here, and as she brings him across, moves the hip over, the rein on the side is like your leg. Does that make sense? And he moves away from pressure there. So it's not just the bit, the rein plays really an important part.
You really see the differences between how well balanced, how hard it is for the mule in front compared to the mule in back, just because of the structure of the two.
Oh yeah, which is the best mover? All right, bravo. Now, notice her straight lines. If she wouldn't have had that straight line, she'd have missed that jump big time. And the nice thing about that is, what did we do in the chute yesterday? Worked on straight lines. Let's give her another hand. So the very same thing that made that perfect was her getting into that movement correctly. Meredith, again, I just can't emphasize what an opportunity for our students here to be able to come to the Lucky 3 and not only train and learn, but it just makes it really special. And of course, out here we've got several trainers. And again, this all comes back to, we try to show them in our program that to be good professionals, they need to have the knowledge of looking at each individual horse, just like we've been talking. And then they can have the customer to a point to where they can right up front say, hey, this horse has this ability and these talents, and this is where the potential is going to be.
That's right, and the breeders need to know that too.
Absolutely. And when the trainer knows that, he can be so honest, because I'll guarantee you what, if he takes their money and 6 months later down the road after they've spent $4,000 or $5,000, he all of a sudden says, well, maybe we need to find you another one. This horse isn't going to quite cut it. Not only are they going to be upset and go down the road and try to find somebody that's going to show that trainer that it's not the horse, it's really the trainer.
Right.
But if they're able to just say right up front with that person and have the knowledge to do an evaluation that says, he's going to be so perfect here, he doesn't quite have the trainability or the sensitivity to be where we want him, but I can find you one that maybe is going to have that, and then we can let this horse go into that round peg and have the gifts to work into that area, and that person not only will be happy, but then they'll be a team with you and they'll go. And I think as a professional, this is what we try to really help in our industry. Now the breeder thing, that's wonderful too, because when a breeder can say to the buyer of a baby, wow, this youngster, even only 6 months old, will have the potential of being a world champion reiner, and he goes out and say makes a top 10, they'll be a customer for life. They'll buy foals by their stallion. Success is huge. But if they all of a sudden buy him and he's really a hunter under saddle prospect, and the turnarounds and the stops are hard, but he's got this big, huge, lovely long stride for a hunter under saddle, but he was sold as a reiner, it's just going to cause problems. So why even go there? Why not have the knowledge to know what these horses can do, have the knowledge of where they're going to be able to be their very best?
Right, and the trainers should not be afraid to bring in a peer if they're unsure about making an assessment like this as well.
Yes, because it's a very competitive industry, and each individual is so important.
Right, but it's a puzzle, and we're all part of it, and our main purpose should be to make sure that we pass on the knowledge that we have to those coming behind us, or even those that are participating in the equine sports and don't have that kind of knowledge.
Yeah. Well, and that's why this week at the Lucky 3 is so fabulous. I mean, to be able to come study and have people like yourself and Joanne participate in this program is a lifetime opportunity. And I want to thank you again for letting us be here. But we've got one more question we don't want to miss. It's from
sure.
Susie James of Phoenix, Arizona, and her basic concern is, she says, Richard, she said, one of the things that really trouble me is that I'm really worried about training or doing something to my horse that's going to cause him a lot of problems. And how do I know when to quit, and how do I know when I'm doing the right thing?
Well, I think, Richard, the horse will tell you that, or mule, as the case may be. And again, I think we get back to the education thing, which is our job, is to get this information out to the public. So with people like her, she would want to seek books, videos, and possibly even clinics and seminars that could teach her how to read her horse, how to pick up on the body language that the horses give you in that. And as you well know, when Joanne was here doing the massage, she was talking a little bit about that herself, how you know whether you're hurting the animal or not, and how to watch his reactions to what you're doing, because they can be very clear, don't you think?
Oh, no question. And actually, that's why resistance-free training and riding has been just a passion, because when that person has the knowledge of seeing that resistance-free flow and that animal in total harmony with them, I'll tell you what, the green light is so evident. And
Then
it's
you
so
know.
Oh yeah.
Then you know.
Then you know you're on that freeway. But boy, when you get resistance and the road gets bumpy and the old car starts shaking, you know,
Well, right.
your horse is saying to you, he's saying out loud, he's screaming out, he says, "Hold it, something's wrong here."
Well, that's right. And a lot of people, because they don't have the knowledge, use trainers. And I think it's really important that you think about this as an educational opportunity when you take your horse to a trainer. Don't just take your horse to a trainer and have him train it or tune it up like a car, but take advantage of the knowledge that he's going to be able to give you, and go there and participate in that training process so that you learn the same things that your horse is learning.
What a good point. And you know, Meredith, this week we've had 10 horses out there that it's been like a library. And you learn from each one of them. And that's why if the people out there have a chance to go to a seminar that's got several horses, not just one, boy, that library, all those books, you can learn from each one instead of just that one animal.
Exactly.
And Jimmy Williams taught me something so many years ago. He said, if you participate in a group, not only does your mind relax more because you're not under so much pressure, but in that group you can learn from the other person.
That's exactly right.
And boy, I think that's why this week has really been special.
Yeah, well, it's the difference between hard eyes and soft eyes. When you've got soft eyes, you can absorb.
Yeah. And it makes it exciting.
Yes.
And I think if we truly love our horses, we want the best for them. And again, to add one more thing for Susie here to help her understand this question is, when does she think she's doing it right? It's when that resistance-free flow is there. Boy, you're on target. The second you hit a little resistance, then back up. Don't keep just running into the wall.
Right.
Slow down
Look
a little
for
bit.
that resistance-free response.
Yep. And the only way you're going to get it is to get softer.
Exactly.
Slow down. And then I think the big thing that I know you talk a lot about in your videos, and boy, we've written for 40 years, and that is, when you get it and it's right, quit. That's the time to stop.
Right.
You know, don't take a chance of burning the omelet. Just what we call maximum learning curve. And it might be 10 minutes into your ride. It might be a half an hour into your ride. It might be 3 minutes. Step off, let them walk, let them relax, put them away when they're on a win-win, not a lose-lose when you're both upset.
Exactly. And don't work too long.
Oof.
If they're doing it right, quit.
Yeah.
If they're having problems with it and it's getting past that first hour, it's time to back up, do something they can succeed at,
Yep. And look for that
then
win-win.
quit. Yeah.
And I think it's just that easy. And I think many people out there that have horses, and they do worry about hurting them.
Of
do
course
worry
they
about
do.
bruising them and causing a problem. And again, and I emphasize it again, just like you said, if they listen to them, they read them, and it's no different than in human beings.
Exactly.
Then that's the time to quit and go on. And boy, this has been great.
Oh, it sure
I hope we
has.
get some more emails and some more questions to answer, because I think this is where it's at.
I know it is, and it's such a pleasure to have all your students here and to get this kind of input. We're all benefiting from this.
Great.
I benefit from having you here as much as you benefit from being here.
Well, you're very kind, and I know knowledge is the thing that opens the door for people.
It's something to be shared.
And it's that little breeze that comes through the room that inspires, and it's neat to see, and it's neat to see everybody just wanting to absorb as much as they can. Thank you for the opportunity to be here again, Meredith.
Thank you.
Great.
My pleasure.
Okay.
Having problems? Need an accessible trainer? Whether you're just a weekend trail rider or showing, the principles of training are the same. You want a safe and reliable equine companion. Produced by Meredith Hodges, Training Mules and Donkeys, a logical approach to long ears, will help you build a good working relationship with your animal. Meredith reveals the secrets of successful maintenance and resistance-free training that can be implemented by anyone, resulting in a satisfying partnership between you and your equine. Meredith answers your training questions promptly via mail or phone. Her books are great general resources, and her videos are detailed, outlining the day-to-day exercises needed to produce a versatile and dependable equine companion. Meredith's techniques work with all equines. Do you have children, grandchildren? Check out Jasper, the story of a mule. For more information, check out our website at www.lucky3ranch.com or call 1-800-816-7566.
Mules are working their way into the hearts of people everywhere. If you'd like to know more about these wonderful long-eared animals, you can contact us at 1-800-816-7566 or get on our website at lucky3ranch.com.
Dusty old quilt hung crooked on a couch.